Right, let's continue this problem. So we found all of those angles. Now we want to compute the area of QSP triangle, right? QSP, this triangle, that's a right triangle. So for that, we need the base and the height, right? So base of this triangle is actually QS. This is the base, and SP is the height. If you want to, you can interchange those two. That's not a problem. But shouldn't use hypotenuse as your base or height, because hypotenuse will never equals to base or height. How do you identify the hypotenuse? Basically, the opposite side of 90 degrees. In this case, I'm talking about this QSP triangle here. The opposite side, QP, that's the hypotenuse. Avoid that. We need base and height. So QS and SP. So now we want to compute lengths, distances. So for that, what do we know? We do have PS length, that is 4, right? So basically height equals to 4. But to compute base, either we should use trigonometry or uh, 30, 60, 90 triangle, because this angle, SQP angle equals to 30 degrees. I think I explained that here, QSP. So sum of interior angles of a triangle. Then let me draw that triangle separately. QSP, how would you compute QS? Because that's the base of this triangle, right? So for that we use 30, 60, 90, that ratio. Let me show you here. So for 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, let's suppose LM equals to X, right? Then MN, that length equals to X root 3, right? And also Ln equals to 2x. If Lm equals to x, we can compute Mn and Nl. So those lengths, I just need that ratio. So I'm going to replace these lengths. I'm going to write these lengths in terms of x. So basically, x square root 3 2x. I would like to simplify this. I'm going to divide the entire thing by x because I just need that ratio. If I divide everything, all of these parts by x, I'll get something like this, because x is going to cancel. That's not the important part. The most important part is actually this ratio, because we can use that. For example, let's suppose for 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, let's suppose this length equals to 5 centimeters. You can easily compute Ln. That's 2 times 5, because that's the ratio. Yeah? 1 to 2. To get Mn, just need to multiply 5 by root 3. 5 root 3. Like that. Actually, the fundamental idea is in the trigonometry actually, right? That's the better approach. But if you're not familiar with trigonometry, you can use this method. If you know trigonometry, if you do have an idea about trigonometry, you can write sine, cosine, tan, and you can compute. Okay, let's apply this concept for our problem, right? Uh, for this one, right? QSP, we found the height, and now we need that QS length, right? To get that QS length, okay, let me show you separately, right? Here's the triangle, 30, 60, 90 triangle, and the ratio, okay, I'm going to follow like this, something like QS, SP, PQ, like that. So now you can easily mark those distances using the idea that we learned. Can you understand that? So basically, we can use that idea that we discussed here. This one, right? So opposite to 30 degrees, that's just 1. Then opposite to 60 degrees, root 3. Opposite to 90 degrees, 2. Like that. Always remember 30 degrees. So opposite of 30 degrees, opposite side of 30 degrees, that's just 1, right? You can start with that. So in for this case, for our problem, now opposite of 30 degrees actually SP. So we should start with that. So this part here. So SP. Then opposite of 60 degrees or opposite of 90 degrees doesn't really matter. But you should remember that ratio. This is 1. Then for 60 degrees, the opposite side of 60, that's 2. No, that's root 3. Sorry, that's root 3. Then opposite of 90 degrees, that's 2. Like that. So SP, PQ, QS. Like that. So SP, that's 1, PQ, 2, and QS, root 3. That's the ratio. Doesn't really matter. You can interchange. For example, one can write SP to QS to PQ. Oh, but if you change that, you should change the ratio as well, like this. But the idea is simple. Now we have that length, SP length. So let's use that, is 4, right? So SP, that length equals to 4. So which means, let me create 4 here. Right now we have 1. I'm going to create 4 here by multiplying the entire ratio by 4. What will happen? 4, because we can multiply ratios, the entire ratio by a certain value, or also we can divide. So here 4 to 8 to 4 square root of 3. Now the most important part is actually we need QS. That's the base of the triangle, right? QS. So here we found QS. When SP equals to 4, QS equals to 4 root 3 and PQ equals to 8. So we found QS 4 square root of 3, SP equals to 1. If you want to, you can write PQ also, that's 8. So basically we need these two lengths because QS is the base and SP is the height. So SP equals to 4 not 1 here. Hence, the area of the triangle equals to half times base times height, which means half times 4 square root of 3 times 4, like that. Then simplify. Don't need to multiply initially. You can put 1 under 4 root 3 and 1 under 4. Simplify 2 and 4. 1, 2, because 2 is a common factor. I did divide both terms by 2. Then 4 root 3 into 2 over 1. That is, I can multiply this 4 times root 3 times 2 over 1, because that's the operation between 4 and root 3, multiplication. Then let me multiply 4 and 2, that is 8. 8 times root 3, that is 8 root 3. That's the area of the triangle. And also you can use trigonometry to compute base. If you are using trigonometry, pick appropriate angle. You can use 30 or 60 according to that. For example, let me use 60-degree angle to compute QS. This one. If you have an idea about trigonometry, you can use this. QSP. This length equals to 4. So I'm going to use, initially pick one angle. Right? Okay, let me use this 60-degree angle. Then for that 60-degree angle, what's the opposite and what's the adjacent and what's the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is always the opposite side of 90 degrees. That won't change. This is the hypotenuse. And the opposite side of 60 degrees is QS. And the adjacent, the side next to 60 degrees, that's 4. So we have that length. Therefore, pick a trig function with that adjacent, right? Because we should use that. We want to compute QS, which means the opposite, and we should use adjacent. So we need a trig function with opposite and adjacent. That's tan. Because we can't use hypotenuse. We don't have that length. So therefore, I'm going to write tan 60. That is opposite over adjacent. So opposite length QS over adjacent SP. QS, that's what we want to compute. SP equals to 4. And tan 60, you should know that value. If that is difficult to remember, you can divide sine 60 by cosine 60. But the value is square root of 3. Tan 60 equals to square root of 3. I just replaced that. Then to get QS, can multiply both sides by 4. Because I just need QS. Okay, let me do that in the next step. 4 times root 3. 4 and 4 can cancel. QS equals to 4 root 3. I think that's what we got using this method. So using the previous method, we got the same answer. You can use either method. Then area equals to half times base times height. Multiply QS and 4, then divide that by 2. You will get the same answer, 8 root 3. Right. So that's the answer for the question. Mhm. Yeah, area of the triangle, I think. Yeah. That's the area of the triangle. Then we can discuss about area of the circle as well.